You're all.
Good evening. Welcome to Star Talk. I'm Ken Eccles, and what was that noise? We're happy to have you with us on the program tonight. We'd love to hear from you tonight. We have a phone line that you can call. There's the number up there. Also, we have an email address, keneckleslive@gmail.com, and we hope you will take part in the program this evening. I need to check something here. Uh, Hang on. Give me 1 second here to make sure. Yeah, the phone's still there was a strange noise here, and I was afraid it was the phone shutting down, but it wasn't. So there's the number. You can use that line. You can email us at keneckleslive@gmail.com. Um, I'm doing what I always do, folks. I'm looking for my phone. There it is. I had an emailer email this afternoon about the DMV, a little bit of a discussion last night about the DMV and what you have to do to get your driver's license renewed. The emailer says, Ken, don't they in the summer have have the DMV offices open on Saturdays sometimes? Are they going to have the offices open on Saturdays soon? That might make things a little easier, maybe. Well, yes, they do. Sometimes, well, they do. I've lately every summer, it seems they have Saturday hours at DMV offices. So having gotten that question, I wasn't nearly smart enough to think of that myself, but once the emailer emailed me, I realized, wow, they may be open on Saturdays. So I made it my business to look up and see if I could find a list, and I did find a list of DMV offices that will be open on Saturdays, starting pretty quick now. And then I put that list somewhere where I wouldn't lose it. And of course, the result of that obviously is that I lost it. And now I don't know where it is. But I can tell you that no offices in Rockingham County were on the list. But there's one of the DMV offices in Greensboro, the one on Coliseum Boulevard, will be having Saturday hours this summer. The DMV office in Kernersville will be having Saturday hours this summer. One of the DMV offices in Winston-Salem will be having Saturday hours. So those are three within reasonable driving distance. If it should come to that, and if it should also come to pass that being open an extra day in the week actually makes it easier to go and do business at those offices, if all those conditions eventuate, then that would be another option for somebody if you don't want to stand in line for, say, 4 hours. You could drive to Kernersville and stand in line for 2 hours. Whether that would be worthwhile or not would be up to the individual. But those offices are going to be having Saturday hours starting in June. So that's just one more thing to put into the stew. If your license is about to expire, and if you're not confident that the General Assembly is going to get a law on the books to rescue you from that anytime soon, that is one more thing that you can think about and consider. I've got that entire list here somewhere. Of course, I have a lot of things here somewhere that I can't find, and those things don't do us any good at all, do they? Let's see. Here's another email that that says, "Ken, I think you owe an apology to Pretty Man. I think you owe an apology to Pretty Man, uh, who so ex- entertains us so excellent." I think I know who wrote this. entertains us so excellency with his quips and I don't even know what that word is. Pretty man, do you think I don't know that you wrote the entertains us so excellency with his quips and some word, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that word, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Uh, and yet you without cease insult his person and never utter the slightest utterance of any appreciation for what he adds to the program in the entertainment value of all that he does. So I say, long live Pretty Man. Okay, Pretty Man, thank you very much. I think we all see through that, and I don't think we need to make any further comment on it. Here's one from last night, the talk about Carolina Beach. This emailer says, Ken, Carolina Beach was the first place I ever went to the beach when I was a child. And we stayed in what looked like a big rooming house close to the beach. I think that's been torn down now, but I really do enjoy Carolina Beach, and I'm sorry they tore down the amusement park. Yeah, they did tear down the amusement park at Carolina Beach. As far as that big rooming house, um, it's been a long time since I was at Carolina Beach. I was there long enough that I remember probably some of those places where people used to stay that were just big old wooden houses. Probably one of those is what you're talking about. And I guess they're pretty much all gone now, replaced by modern structures, which generate more revenue. But yep, I have a very fond memory of Carolina Beach. I was also, just like you, that's the first time I ever went to the beach either. First time I saw the ocean was at Carolina Beach. Hi, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey Ken, how you doing, buddy? I'm
Uh,
trying to get you, but it went straight to your voicemail. Kept saying, leave a message. Leave a
okay,
message.
I thought something was going on with the phone, but it seemed whatever it was, it seems to be okay now because you got through. I'm
I,
glad you got through.
yeah, yeah. I called Mr. Draper, but he didn't answer the phone. I was gonna tell him to email you because I don't know how to email. But anyway, I was gonna give him an email and let you know that phone wasn't working, but it's
Well,
working now.
I appreciate that, but whatever it was, it got fixed, or either got fixed or it got well.
Yeah. Uh, have you ever been to White Lake?
One time, when I was maybe 6 years old, went to White Lake. Is that still open?
Yeah, it's still there. It's really. It's been a while since I've been, but I was about 6 years old when I went.
My
And
sister, my sister used to go there a lot. Uh, I don't really know anybody who goes now.
no, I don't either. But last time I went, been a while, but it's really grown up. Really, it's different than it was back then when we went in the '60s, 55, 66, yeah, 66, something like that. Because I was about 6 years old too.
Now that's
Had that
close
glass
to
bottom boat,
that's close to
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville, right?
Yeah, Elizabeth City or somewhere like that, ain't it? Something called Elizabeth City or something.
Yeah, maybe it
It's
is close to
Fayetteville.
Elizabeth City. I
Yeah,
mean,
something about Elizabeth City. You
but
turn to some light that takes you to White Lake.
yeah, it used to be. I used to hear a whole lot about it, but I don't hear about it much anymore.
No, I don't either. I used to go but it was a woman. My mom and daddy used to take us all three brothers there when we was young, and but they know this woman. I guess they know her because we went inside of her place and everything. My mom and us boys, and she had a bear rug down on the floor in her house, whatever. We
Yeah.
lived in it was a bear skin rug, and she had
Wow.
these two big rings. She had these big two rings. I mean, big rings. Rings like you put stuff on. She had nothing on there but rings she found in White Lake with her feet. She found them with her toes. She
Really?
found jewelry. Yes,
Wow.
sir. She had two. I remember that when I was 6 years old. I know I was 6. 'Cause my daddy died when I was 8. And
Oh,
but I'm gonna tell you one thing. I ain't never forgot that bear rug, and plus them two big rings, and all it was on them rings was rings, graduation rings, wedding rings, all kinds of rings.
the people
That
lost in
surprised
the
me.
lake. People lost them
Yeah,
in the
lost
lake.
to White Lake. And she'd go in the lake, and I guess she lived there, and find them with her toes, with her find the jewelry with her feet. Yeah,
How big
sure.
is that lake? I don't even have a clear memory of it. How big a lake is that?
I don't know. It ain't real big because I mean, it ain't real big. But I remember we used to ride that boat and go by that place. That man that owned Mountain Dew. He had a place down there. The man that used to own Mountain Dew, that drank
Oh,
Mountain Dew.
okay. Man,
Yeah,
White
see,
Lake.
they tell us. Yep, White Lake. That was because you was talking about North Carolina beach. Well, the first beach I went to was Myrtle, and I was about, I don't know, I was probably about 7, probably then.
Have
Yeah,
you
I
been
was
to
about 7.
Have you been to Myrtle Beach lately?
Yeah, I went this year. I went this year.
Man,
No.
it's a whole lot different than it was back in my I mean, a whole lot of things are different than they were in my teenage years. Myrtle Beach is really different now. It's like
Yeah,
it's a city.
yeah, yeah. I stay there south. Sometimes I go up north, but you go to Third South Avenue, Third Avenue South, and stay straight on. It's like going back to hit 501. Anyway, it's a place right there on the right called oh man, what is it? Anyways, Home Cooked Meals. Victoria's Home Cooked
Okay.
Meals. That's
Wow.
the name of it. Victoria's Home Cooked Meals. That's where I eat at this year. I ate down there. Me and a buddy of mine rode down there. Matter of fact, he's leaving Tuesday. Him and another buddy, they going down there. I didn't want to go. I'm gonna wait till the prices drop.
When do the prices drop?
It'll be in the fall. I
Yeah.
guess after Labor Day.
Yeah, we have to wait a while. That's what I like to do is go when the prices drop, but sometimes I lose patience and go before the prices drop. But I have to
I
pay
just
for it.
Yeah, I just don't like being out in that sun. I go to the beach. I stay in the shade. I don't get out in that heat. I don't like it when it's real hot down there.
No,
I
I
just
don't
don't
I
like
don't lay in the sun. I don't do-
it.
I used to
No, I
do
don't
that. I don't
either.
do that anymore.
But anyway, I thought I asked you to tell you about that White Lake, about that woman finding them rings and had that bear rug down, and I never forgot that when I was little.
I need to look up White Lake. They're probably on the internet now. I need to look up White Lake and find out more about
Yeah.
it.
It, oh, they got a bunch of trailers and places up and down that road. Uh, I mean, it's changed. It's really changed. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been.
Yeah, I'm
Long
going to
time.
check it out online.
Okay, well, I'll let you go, kids, so somebody else call in. I'll talk to you later.
Well, thanks. Good to hear from you.
Okay.
Um, hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Ken, this is Jerry. I'd just like to say those two people that was pardoned by Trump about swindling the banks, well, the banks knows them now, and they'll never swindle no other bank ever again. And thanks for taking my call, sir.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Thank you for calling. Good to hear from you. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, good evening, Mr. Ken.
Good evening.
I'm already preparing my celebration for Sunday.
What are you going to celebrate?
I'm prepared to celebrate the win for Sunday.
I see. You're going to celebrate your victory in the Nashville race. Kyle Larson is your guy.
Yes, sir. I'm prepared to celebrate with a good time, be loud as I can be, make sure the whole neighborhood hears me.
Well, that's every night, isn't it, with you?
Well, when it starts with the summertime, yes, they're going to hear me. But when I know the law is going to show up, I kind of be quiet.
I thought you had, what word do we want? I thought you had arrangements with the police.
Well, I don't want to use words of arrangement saying that I've got friends here, I got friends there. I'm not going to spread, I'm not going to talk about things I should not talk about. The lawyer says that's not a good idea. I should keep a little bit more on the calm side.
Spoken like a true defendant.
Yes, and please always leave the verdict. In other words, throw yourself on the mercy of the court.
Okay. Do you think, I mean, let's be serious. Do you think the court's going to have a lot of mercy in your case?
Yes.
The most mercy money can buy.
Oh, yeah, money well spent in America.
All right, then. I don't suppose you've ever been to White Lake, have you? White Lake, North Carolina?
No comment.
Okay. All right. That tells us he's been there. When he says no comment, we know he's been there, but he doesn't want to talk about it.
No, I don't. Don't want to start something and I can't get explained.
Okay. Well, then that's all I got, unless you have something interesting to add to the conversation.
No, sir. I'm going to wait till next week to brag on the show how good that my driver did.
We'll look forward to hearing that. I know everybody will.
Well, we'll see you Monday evening, sir. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Phone line is open. There's a number up there that you can call. The email address is keneccleslive@gmail.com. And let's look over here in the email stack and see what's there. Ken, why don't they just go ahead and spend enough money in this crazy state to get enough DMV offices with enough people working in the DMV offices so we don't have to put up with all this nonsense just to get a driver's license renewed? Who do I talk to get this fixed? Well, if you're talking about spending money, which obviously you are, since that's what you said, if you're talking about spending money, you need to talk to the General Assembly about spending money on DMV. Of course, what's happened in North Carolina, one of the things that's happened in North Carolina is this has been for several years now one of the fastest growing states in America. Growing quick, fast, a lot of people moving here, whole lot more folks than there used to be. But the number of DMV offices apparently has not grown along with the population. So at some point, somebody's going to have to open up another can of DMV offices and get a few more locations where people can go and get services, because this state is still gaining population quick. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken, it's Mark from Midland.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
Okay, kind of sleepy. I ain't been in bed all night.
Why? Why'd you?
I don't know.
You just
I stayed up last night, good sleep, and then I called the radio station 98.1 Classic Country about 5:30 a.m. this morning.
okay. Well, you'll probably sleep better tonight.
Oh yeah, but you was talking about listen to the race on Sundays. That's the station you listen to, 98.1 Classic Country.
Is
That's
that
the one that the race on it.
98.1? Is that's in Virginia, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Galax.
Galax, Virginia is where that is. That's right. So they carry the Motor Racing Network.
Yeah, every Sunday. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good news. I'm going to listen some this week in the Nashville race. I'm going to get some of that on radio because I miss those radio guys.
Oh yeah. I don't have a computer, so I can't watch. We call it Amazon Prime. I can't watch that.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have the internet, you're out of luck on that one, but your radio will still work.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ken.
Well, thank you, Mark. Get some sleep tonight.
Oh, I will.
Good night. So, Mark did an all-nighter. I've done a few all-nighters. I did most of my all-nighters when I was in college. A lot of all-nighters. I can't even say it, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of all-nighters on the night before exams. The emailer says, this emailer insists on trying to embarrass me, and I'll get back to this and be embarrassed in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing tonight, Ken?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Glad to see the sun come out this evening. How about yourself?
I didn't realize what it was at first. I looked at the window and there was all this light out there, and I thought,
Yep.
what is that? Then I realized it was the sun.
Yep. I'm glad to see it. I think it's going to start back again Friday, though. It rained about off and on all day Friday, but I sure was glad to see it today.
Well, maybe Thursday. Maybe we'll have one day without any rain at least.
Yeah. You talking about the DMV offices? I did a little research on that too, and I think it said from June through August till August or whatever it was on Saturdays. But I didn't see anything in Rockingham County that would be open. But they said that the hours on Saturday would be like from 8 to 12 too, instead of all day thing.
Oh yeah, it won't be all day. And no, I didn't see anything in Rockingham County either. Closest I saw was that one in Greensboro.
Right. Another thing about the DMV thing, I don't think we had that problem for the Democrats control the state legislature in Raleigh, but seems like Republicans is on the ball on this thing too.
Well, let's think a second. When did things start getting slow at the DMV? The last time I even went to the DMV was it would have been 2012, because I got my license renewed in 2012, and then it expired, and I renewed it online. So this is the first time I've gone to the DMV in 13 years. I don't know when it started getting so slow.
Yeah, I imagine, Ken, to be honest, it probably happened right after COVID. You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like everything shut down during COVID and never really, really opened up back again, especially government offices.
Yeah, that's probably true. And also the Real ID thing has put another layer on it this time, has made it worse. But my sense of it is, well, not just my sense of, people have told me that it has been slow at the DMV for several years now. But again, this year was the first time I've been there myself since 2012.
Yeah. It's been 4 years since I've been, Ken. 5 years now, I guess it is. But I got to go before September and get it done some way, somehow. But
well, unless the General Assembly gives you an extra 2 years.
Yeah, I know my luck. It'll be after my birthday. So.
And plus, even if they do, I think we've talked about this before. Even if they do, you might be a little hesitant to cross the state line with that license that technically has expired.
Yeah, I'm only like 8 miles from Virginia, and actually it's less than that. But I do more shopping and everything in Danville anyway than I do in Eaton or Reidsville. But I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Well, maybe you'll wake up. We will wake up one morning and all the lines will be gone. It sounds crazy, but that last time I went to the DMV in 2012 to get my license, I showed up about 1:00 in the afternoon, walked in the door, said I need to renew my license, and they said, "Certainly, sir, come this way." I didn't have to wait for anything, but that was a different world.
Yeah, well, it was the same way when I went, Ken, about 5 years ago. But like you say, it's another world now. Ken, I haven't picked a driver for this week, so I would like to pick the number. I want to pick Denny Hamlin, but I'm going to go with a 24 this week, if you don't mind.
Well, I don't mind. Mr. Pelham has the 24 for this
Yeah.
week. So you're not going to wait for Pretty Man and base your pick on his.
No, I started to go with Pretty Man last week, but I was going to pick the 11 like he did, but I went with the 20, and that worked out for me. So, you know, if he calls in and goes to 24, I know I'm going to be in bad shape. But I'm trying to play this strategy thing. I'm up next to the top, so I got to go with the flow now. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. When you're in second place, you're really playing for something. So you need to give it a little more thought.
Yeah. All right, Ken. Thanks for taking my call, man. I really enjoy your show. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate that. Phone line is open up there. There's the number on your screen. You can email kennickleslive@gmail.com. And I'll go ahead and read this email, this embarrassing email, which says, "Hey, Ken, what's your pick this weekend and what place are you in?" My pick this weekend is the 24. Should have been my pick last weekend, but it wasn't. My pick this weekend is the 24. And my position in the standings, well, last week I figured that I would have been 14th, and that hasn't gotten any better. I'd actually be 15th right now. And you know what really stings about that? I would be. I hate to say, and I may not say. I got to think before I even say that. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Ken. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
All right. Let me have Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell, the 20 for Nashville. Yes. It's in the book.
All right. Ken.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question here. Why? Okay. What did that sheriff do from Virginia, ex-sheriff rather, that Trump pardoned? What was he? I caught the tail end of it.
You know, I don't know. I had not heard about that. So I don't know which sheriff we're talking about.
Okay. It was an ex-sheriff from some parts of Virginia, and he got pardoned.
I'll look that up, but right now I don't know.
Okay. All right. And why is the federal government suing North Carolina about violation of, election and all like that, when I thought we had the most scrutinized election in the whole country? I don't 6 months.
I don't understand any of that, to be perfectly honest with you. We've gone through our own, so we've been suing each other over elections for most of 6 months now, and have kind of gotten that one settled. I really don't know I don't honestly know what it is they want us to do.
And look, who pays for these lawyers? Like when the government sue, and when I know if a person you're responsible for, but if a government sue, who pays all these legal fees for all of these?
Taxpayers. Well, obviously, if they're government lawyers, we pay them.
Oh,
taxpayers' money.
Well, yeah. Oh well. Anyway, look, this is the last thing I heard about the Big Beautiful Bill. Correct me if I quote anything wrong.
Okay.
And they said Medicaid cuts $700 billion.
That is about what they ended up with. It went up. It was $800 billion, then it was $500 billion. And now the estimate is about $700 billion over the next 10 years.
Okay, and they said SNAP cuts $267 billion. What I got?
That's about right. I think that's close to what it was.
All right, and and you were saying that after sequestration, that all these agencies will be cut 10%. Is that correct?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Medicare is an
Medicare.
exception. Medicare would only be cut 4%. Most other agencies would be cut 10%, but by law, they cannot cut Medicare. Now we're talking not Medicaid, Medicare.
Yeah.
By law,
Medicare.
they cannot cut that more than 4%.
Okay. And what did you say approximately was that? What was the $490 billion?
In what the Medicare cuts would be? Is that what you mean?
Would that be for the Medicare cuts?
Medicare cuts, if sequestration is triggered, then Medicare will be cut by about $500 billion, $490 to $500 billion over the next 10 years. Yes.
Okay, now they don't have to mess with it, touch it, make a bill or what. That automatically kicks in because sequestration, right?
That is the law right now. That's the law on the books right now. Is if the deficit increases to a certain percent, I can't name the exact number for you, but if deficit spending increases by a certain amount, then pay as you go law passed in 2010 kicks in and sequestration will happen. And the big beautiful bill will add about $3.8 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years, and that'll be enough to kick in sequestration. But again, it hasn't passed the Senate yet.
Right. Okay. I got a funny one to tell you there. You know they had the Ohio State football team at the White House.
Right.
And celebrating. And JD Vance picked up the trophy and he dropped it and broke it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they showed the football player one piece in one hand, Vance had the other. I said, can he do anything right?
Fumbled. He fumbled.
Yeah, he fumbled at the White House.
No, I didn't see that. I'm sure they can
All right,
fix it.
kid. Enjoy your show. You take care.
Thanks for calling. Broke the national championship trophy. That's embarrassing. Especially, J.D. Vance is from, so that had to hurt, especially since he's an Ohio guy. Let's see. Oh, well, let's do this. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
He might have fumbled at the White House, but at least he didn't have cocaine there.
Well, we don't think so anyway. We don't
Yeah,
know.
he getting ready to find out whose it was. He getting ready to find out whose cocaine that was.
All right. Well, it wasn't mine. Wasn't mine, and it wasn't yours. So we're in the
now,
clear.
his mine would have been up my nose. I mean,
okay.
30, 40 years ago or something. I don't know how long ago. But
All right. Well, let's
I wouldn't
not.
do that now. I'd be afraid I'd blow up if I did it now.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be careful. There comes a time in life when you got to be careful.
You know, it's like people say that marijuana is so bad for you, and how heavy it is these days, how strong and all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, holy jumping, flipping Jehoshaphat! All you gotta do is not smoke the whole daggone thing.
Okay. Yeah. But now I don't have. Let me stress this very strongly. I have no experience with current day marijuana. None.
If you did these days, you'd probably go to hospital.
But I am told it is a much different thing than what it used to be.
Yeah, you'd probably have to go to hospital if you smoke some today.
Well, I'm not going to risk it.
I mean, they call it loud.
Yeah.
And they call it loud because it smells so loud.
Well,
Do you know? Do you know? Do you know?
Always had a certain aroma about it.
Oh, there's different ones now. Much different. Did you know you can go into a vape and smoke shop here in Eden and buy you all the from a gram to an eighth to a quarter to a half an ounce to an ounce to 2 ounces to 4 ounces, and you can go buy right now. It's $100. It's $90 an ounce.
Now,
I'm sorry, $90 a half ounce.
How is that legal?
It's Delta 8.
Oh,
it's
that's
hemp.
That's what Delta 8 is.
Yeah, it's hemp buds infused with the amount of THC allowed by the federal government.
But it's not allowed by the state government, is it?
Evidently, they sell it at all the vape stores. I mean, they got 6, 8 jars on top of the counter. You can take the lids off and smell each one.
Have you? You sound like you've done that.
Well, of course I have.
Okay.
It's legal. It's legal.
All right. I don't know. I don't have any experience with the conditions of the current market. None at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the government allows that.
Well, it's the amount of THC in it allowed by federal government.
All right. But is that amount of THC enough to get you high?
Lord gosh, I mean, it makes you one toke you close your eyes and be coughing and puking and gagging and
all right. Well here's the thing. Now here's what I'm getting to.
That's why you take another hit.
Okay, yeah. If you can go to the store, and I take your word for it, if you go to the store and buy Delta 8, that will fix you up just as though you were buying a lid from your favorite dealer on the street. I don't know how the law, how can that be done inside the law and still be effective? I don't get it. I guess I need to research this.
It flips me out too. I don't have a clue. I mean, I really don't. I don't know. I can't answer that, but you can look up Delta 8, and it's a law according to the Farm Bill Act of 2018. It's legal,
federally legal.
Evidently statewide also, because they sell it here in the state with no problem sitting on the counters.
Okay. Well, how do drug dealers stay in business if it's that easy to go get something like this? How does your neighborhood drug dealer even stay in business?
I don't have a clue about that. I don't worry about that. I don't have a neighborhood drug dealer. Excuse me. I just see the same person for many, many, many years.
Well, I guess your neighborhood drug dealer has to do it with something other than marijuana, and of course, is where it gets really bad.
No, I don't know. No. I mean, I'm 71, so is my neighborhood dealer.
Well, wait, you just said you don't have a neighborhood dealer.
Well, that's why I said my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I just want to say that, Trump stated on TV, I guess Monday, day before yesterday, or whatever it was, Monday, that if this big, beautiful bill is not passed, everyone who pays taxes, their tax will go up 65%.
I don't think that's quite true.
He stated it on live TV with Johnson, Speaker of the House, Johnson, standing beside him.
Don't doubt that he stated it, but I don't think that's quite right.
Well, he said it quite a few times. So whatever it is, it's not going to be good. If the bill passes, it's going to be the biggest tax cut in American history.
That might be right. I don't know. Haven't looked that up. That may or may not be correct.
I wouldn't say it if it wasn't right, Ken. If I hadn't already learned it, I wouldn't say it.
Okay. Well, then there
Okay.
that
It don't have
is
to come
then.
from it don't have to come from you to be right. It can come from other people and be right also.
That is true. Absolutely
Yes.
true.
I do
I
my homework, you know that.
I understand that. So if it passes the Senate, then we'll all have a big tax cut, and the deficit will go up $4 trillion beyond what it would have been, and then we'll have to deal with that.
Yep. But you know what? You and I won't have to worry about that. It's a
Uh,
shame. I mean, it's a shame it's not a permanent cure all fix, but you know, the future young people have to pay for it.
Yep.
And that's just the way life goes. It seems like when you have a democratic government, which is only lasts an average of 200 years throughout
And
history.
well, we're past 200 years already.
Yeah, we're 250 and something like that. But a democratic government only lasts an average of 200 years, and then it collapses. And look at the left. Look at the Democratic side; they're collapsing. They're spending $20 million to figure out how to talk to white people. They're spending $20 million to figure out how to talk to white men.
I don't even know what that's about.
I don't either, but that's what they're doing. That's big news today and yesterday. Spending $20 million to figure out how to talk to white men. You talk to them. You don't
Okay.
figure it out. You talk normal
Well,
to them. As simple as it can be.
I'll be glad. Maybe they'll issue some guidelines so we can all do it.
All right, kid. You have a good night, bud. Take care. See you
Thanks
next
for
week.
calling.
Okay.
And the phone line is open right now. You can call us at that number. And the email address is keneckleslive@gmail.com. And we have, another 10 minutes or so for your phone calls and your emails. Edition of Star Talk. This emailer says, Ken, I thought that the Doge actions were supposed to reduce the government deficit. How can it be going up? Well, because the Doge actions didn't reduce it. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and how are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I like Mr. I love to hear him talk. I do. I really do. He need to stay out that hemp store, out that tobacco. Yeah, he needs to stay out in there.
Well,
Please.
well.
Maybe he might be growing his own.
No. Let's don't say that. Don't say that. He's not.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, well, I tell you what then. He can believe what Trump said. I want him to believe this right here. The world will come to end tomorrow. Okay, now, with that being said, he was saying that Trump said this and okay, but anyway, let me get back to this right here. He's saying, all these judges here that I've seen them on the news today, that they are being threatened, all because of what he's going against them because they went against him before he was in office. And I don't understand it. I don't. And then he said up here and going to pardon these people knowing that the people did the crime. And he just sit up there turning them loose. I don't understand. I don't understand what this man is doing. I really don't. And then he said that if Putin don't stop what he's doing within 2 weeks, he's supposed to do. I guess he's gonna end the war like he said. He's gonna end the war like he when he first became president. So he's gonna do it in 1 day. He said he done gave him 2 weeks now. He said give him 2 weeks. If he don't stop it within 2 weeks, then he's gonna do something about it or whatever. Now we're gonna have to wait for that, I guess, and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, Putin today, since you mentioned the war last, so we'll go to the war for just a second.
Okay.
Putin has issued his conditions for ending the war. And they are the same conditions that he's been issuing for 2 years now. The very same demands that he's been making for the last 2 years, under which he would end the war. And he says if those conditions are not met, then the war will and nothing will change. So I don't know I don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks or whatever the time period is, but Putin seems to be very clear in what he's saying is here are my demands, and I will not budge on any of my demands. So that puts us in a really hard place because he doesn't appear to be willing to do anything.
And here, just what was the other day here was when he bombed over there in Ukraine. He bombed the city, the worst that ever have been bombed. I mean, this supposed to be coming to an end, man. But he done bombed the worst that he ever have.
And President Trump commented on that a couple of times and talked about what a terrible thing it was that Putin has done that. But I don't know that Putin cares what we think. He certainly doesn't seem to care.
He doesn't even seem to care. But we can't hear. He's been bombing all the time though, and he just now seeing it. I mean, Trump just seeing it. He just seemed like he just seeing it. I mean, he really don't care because some of the fact is he don't care about Ukraine because some fact is because the president, he went against him in his election. That's what he got holding against that man, and he don't care nothing about him.
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that he doesn't care. I mean, he may care a lot. What the problem is though is I don't know what he's able to do about it. Senator Lindsey Graham said yesterday that the Senate needs to impose sanctions on Russia because, again, in Lindsey Graham, the president won't do it, so the Senate is going to have to do it. So that's the question is, you know, I do think he cares. I think though we're at a place where he's not sure what he needs to do. And maybe in the next 2 weeks he'll figure it out. But right now I don't think he knows.
So he hid Kalinske right there in the Oval House office right there. And he talked to him like he was a dog. I mean, like he was nobody. That seems to me like he don't. I mean, I don't. Seems to me like way he talked to the man like he don't. The only thing he wants from the man is from whatever he can give it. You give me $1 million, I'll stop this war. Oh, you give me 2 or 3, give me money and I'll stop this war. That's what's happening with the people he letting out of jail. They paying him, giving him millions of dollars, and I'll give you millions of dollars. He'll stop it. He'll stop the war. You pay him, he'll do it. But Kalinske ain't giving him enough to stop the war. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I think, again, as I've said before, I don't know what people think. I can't read anybody's mind. But I think, it's just what I think. I think President Trump would stop that war today if he knew how to do it. But I don't think he knows how. I don't think he knows what to do.
Well, you're probably right. Because like you said, Putin is not going to listen to him. And if you're right. He don't know what to do because if we go against Putin, maybe he'll start a war and he may start bombing up. This is why he wants this dome around the United States he's talking about because he knows what's going to happen.
Well,
that's what I'm doing.
You know, I'd love to have that dome in the United States, but if that happens, it's going to be a long time before that happens. But
that's true. They talk like years before they can have the deal.
The main concern, I guess, for everybody right now, the number one concern is don't make it worse. You know, the war in Ukraine is terrible. We certainly want to stop it, but first we have to not make it worse. And that really complicates things because we don't know what Putin might do next.
Exactly right, Ken. Exactly right. So you like I say, you can't make it worse. So I guess you just have to stand at a standstill and wait and see what he's going to try to make a deal, try to make him cut a deal. That's all you can do. And so, but anyway, Ken, I got somebody else has got about 5 minutes before you go off.
Well,
so I'm going to let you go. And you have a blessed weekend.
Thanks for calling. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
That ignorance coming from a man who don't know what a V.
All right. Phone line is open, and give us a call at that number, or you can email us at keneckles@gmail, keneckleslive@gmail.com. And let's see, we have a couple of emails over here. Not too much time left. Okay, here's Pretty Man's production. Everybody's been waiting to find out this one. Hello, I am ready to share my prediction with the world for the race at Nashville. In case you don't know who I am Pretty Man, and I predict that the winner of the race will be Ross Chastain, will be taking his second consecutive win at Nashville. And I, Pretty Man, pick the number one for Nashville. All right. That's important information that we've all been waiting for. And so there is that. And this one says, hello, write down the 11 for Captain Midnight. All right. Captain Midnight takes the 11 for Nashville. And let's see, I think I got one more here. Got one more here. And of course, I've lost it. Hello, Ken. Mr. NASCAR here. I need to recover from a couple of slow weeks. Yeah, you do. Write down the number 9 for me at Nashville. Mr. NASCAR takes the 9 at Nashville. Quickly, what we've got so far: Captain Midnight, the 11, Mr. NASCAR, the 9, Mr. Leaksville, the 5, Mr. Draper, the 24, Jack, the 20, Mark, the 11, Mr. Pelham, the 24, Charles, the 5, Pretty Man, the 1, Early Bird, the 22, Leon, the 17, Citizen D has the 5, and the Liberal has the 20. And that's all the time we have for Star Talk tonight. We're on the air Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I hope you'll join us next time. Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Eccles.